I have known Sister Lovell for a comfortable period of 10 years. And I use the word comfortable because during that time, I have discovered that she is a person of integrity, a person of honesty, and exceptionally sincere. Anyone who has those accolades, I am comfortable with. That's why I use that term. I have found her to be a leader without effort.
Yes.
And we know that it takes effort to be a leader in any sense. But she seems to do it so gracefully and so caringly. It makes it seem that it's almost staged, and you know that it isn't, because her leadership among the sisters and some of the brothers that I have observed is spontaneous. And we know that anything done spontaneous is not staged. That's probably an inappropriate word to use, but she just does it so well. I have often said to her that if she was to put half of the energy and effort into herself that she has done and continue to do with others, and I have seen that, her career and her personal goals would be so much farther than they are.
Yes, that's true.
It has truly been delightful growing with her. She's had a major influence in my life. And one reference would be that I'm not a very forgiving person, extremely cynical. And cynical because of the world we live in. I don't like to think of myself as being foolish, and I think that there's strength in honesty. But as I speak with her and have spoken to her, she seemed to forgive others that I wouldn't dare consider. And some of that has transpired to me. So I speak of her again. I don't think she's one of the few people, and probably the many. There are many good people in this world, but because we are among and we live in such a sinful environment, the good seems to be very few. So I have to be careful in not restoring accolades that seem that they're just being pulled out of the air. But I think that, and I use the word think, I don't know. But the way she has conducted herself during the short period of time that I have known her, she seems to have a purpose, and that purpose seems to be driven by the blessing of the Almighty. As a parent, there is no greater height that any parent could achieve than what I have noticed and witnessed of her achievement. I know her two sons, and I know them, the youngest boy, Joseph, mainly through my son. She constantly speaks of the children and their future welfare. like most good parents, we think of ourselves only when we are ill and realize we need to focus on ourselves in order to get better so we can continue doing for our children. And that is the kind of mother that I have observed her to be. As a parent myself, my youngest son, Sagan, needed a parental guidance outside of his father, which I'm proud to say is myself. She stepped into his life at a very, very critical time of his life and of mine. And without missing a beat, she was very instrumental as a mother or as a acting mother, never trying to substitute for his missing mother, but carrying giving the love and carrying the responsibility that an actual mother would do so. As an educator, again, a personal witness, Sagan, my son, was doing extremely poorly in school, to the point that he had just about given up. And I refused to allow him to do so. And with her consistency and persistence, and yet caring as a mother would, not being too demanding, but knowing when to command, she restored a great deal of his interest in education, and that I truly appreciate. I knew her when she was ill, but I didn't know the nature of the illness. She was pretty secretive about that. I didn't want to pry because she was the tutor of my son, and I didn't feel that I should step out of those boundaries to find out what the illness was. But I was aware, because of the time that she was absent from the education center, I knew that she was ill. But I didn't discover how ill she was until she was onto the road of recovery. She was a person that we spoke periodically, and in our speaking, I can't ever recall of her focusing on herself and her illness. So my inquiring was through others. Other than that, you would not have known that she was ill. At least I wouldn't have. I have always been impressed with the tremendous effort and energy that has gone into her events. And I know that it's tiresome. She has been, from my point of view, very fortunate and diligent to have a staff that has given her, I like to assume, equal support. And I would think that when you receive that kind of support from the sisters that I have observed, it's because they have also been supported equally well by her.
You're also the artist. You did the artwork for Healing Affirmations. You did the artwork for Spiritual Vitamins and for wisdom speaks.
That's true. Uh, I found it and find it quite rewarding that and appreciative that I was given the respect and the consideration of being allowed to use my talents. Because as most artists would tell you, you're not an artist until you can explore within yourself and it becomes an outward evidence of what you're capable of doing. The more that I was able to express myself for her projects, the more I realized how much I had missed becoming an artist and how I resented not having the time to explore, to further develop my want to be artistic abilities. I would love to get the opportunity in the near future or distant future to represent her again on one of our projects. When a person such as Sister Janet Lovell enters someone's life from a distance or near, if you are a person of faith, if you are an individual that has a knowledge of the Supreme Being and a fear of His strength, you can gracefully and lovingly and respectfully appreciate and cherish what Sister Janet Lovell has to offer. She is truly a unique, caring, and strong and determined individual. She introduced me to a very kind, loving brother, a dear friend of hers that she has known for many years. And without knowing him for a long period of time, I felt that I knew him because she called him her friend. And knowing that she chooses her friends wisely, that he would be someone that I would not have to investigate of his quality. He said to me, he said, Brother Chappelle, he says, Sister Lovell is a determined person. And once she tells you she's going to do something, she does it. And I thought that was a supporting statement because we all speak well of those that we admire. But I have come to realize that that brother knew what he was talking about.
Amen.
So if you're not ready to tell her what you're going to do, then don't even bother.
Amen.